Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick, the King of Cars. Today we're here at Cars at Lincoln Common in Chicago, Illinois. There's some amazing cars here today. The vibes are good. The wind is kind of high, but that's what you'd expect in the Windy City. It's going to be a great time today, and I hope you stick around. Starting off at the top of this parking garage with an amazing view of the Chicago skyline. Truly a beautiful city. But also beautiful are the many cool cars here today. We got Porsches, we got Vipers, we got tuner cars, more Porsches, lots of Porsches here today. We got Miller, we got all these cool cars, and I'm gonna walk you guys through quite a few of them. Starting off with this Ferrari FF. I love the FF. These cars are really cool, very underrated given their values compared to other V12 Ferraris. This is a really nice spec. Gray, brown interior. I would love to have one of these cars in the future. This is truly a do-everything Ferrari, and with a 6.3-liter V12, it sounds glorious. These things on the startups, nothing sounds like this. Obviously, people are inclined to engines like the LFA engine and the CGT, and other exotics like Murcielagos and Zondas, but these Ferraris, these V12s, gosh, they sound glorious. It's like a V12 concerto performed by angels. Very nice. Here's an Audi R8 with a very interesting plate, but also interesting is this 720S. Now, I featured this car in my Chicago Car Collective video. Please excuse the alarm going off. But now, this car's got a bumper on it. So that's cool. And when I say there are a lot of Porsches here, there are a lot of Porsches. You got 992s, 996s, you got Caymans, you got 991s, Lava Orange GT3 Hours. Really nice. Walking along, more 993s, 996s. Porsche guys, for as long as the eye can see, more 991s. This 260Z is not a Porsche, but is really cool. I love the green. I don't know the name of this green, but it's a green over tan car, so that's really cool. And for the economically minded, we have fuel efficient vehicles too, in the form of this 996 C4S, which might get up to 18 miles per gallon. I don't know. Very economical. We've got a Porsche Cayman R. These are very rare. I don't know how many of these were built. Twin turbo R8 leaving now, Rogue R8. That thing is really cool. Moving on, we have this beautiful Mark IV Supra. I think white is the best color for the Toyota Supra. I'm not a huge Supra guy, but this build is really clean. I do like this a lot. I love like the time attack style build that people do on these cars. Very nice. Once again, we've got many more Porsches. This 992 GT3, for instance, which actually was also in my Chicago Car Collective video. A lot of cars from that video are here today, as you're going to see. But now we get a better look at this car because this car was on top of the racks. Gray, but with blue pinstriping on the wheels. Very nice spec. It is a PDK, which honestly, if I had one of these cars, I think I would go for that because it's just a much more usable transmission. And from what I've seen by people who've actually driven both the manual and the PDK, they say the PDK is better, so I'll take their word for it. This is a really nice spec though. It's kind of simple, but it's still very clean and very elegant. Here's something really cool. This is a Hakosuka Nissan Skyline GTR, the original Skyline GTR, but a really clean build of it too. It maintains all the original chrome, but with carbon wide body fenders, Watanabe wheels, the carbon spoiler, this thing is so clean and so nice. I mean, I haven't seen many Hakos in the area, but this thing is just insane. I would maintain that this is one of the cleanest Hakos on the planet. This car is awesome. I would love to drive one of these at some point in the future. LC500 making a lot of noise. So here we have a Lamborghini Huracan STO finished in Verde Scandal. This is one of the couple of STOs here today, but this one is really nice. The reason why, okay, I've tried filming this 4 times and that Aston keeps going off, so I'm gonna keep filming this. The reason why I like this car so much is that they didn't do the contrast on this part of the car. A lot of STOs have that, but this one looks really nice in the body color. I think that there are not many STOs spec'd like this, and it's really cool to see it. Here's another Supra, but compared to the one from earlier, this one is a much more clean street build. Both of the Supras here today are really nice, but this one is awesome, and this is how I would have a Supra. It's a turbo car, so it's really expensive, but it's really cool nonetheless. Speaking of clean white cars, this Ferrari 360 is really nice. Challenge Stradale wheels, the car is lowered, red interior, but the all-important feature is the manual gearbox. This is one of the cleanest 360s in the area. I've only seen it a couple of times, but it is really cool to see nonetheless. This car is awesome. White Ferraris, for me, are always a win. And I think white is a very underrated color for Ferraris because they all look so good in white. And this car is no exception. Lots of crazy specs here today, but I maintain that this is one of the craziest. This STO is, I think, in blue Cephas, but I could be wrong because it's a metallic color, so I'm pretty sure it's Cephas, but with pink accents and then black on the hood, on the roof, over the top of the car. This is a spec that shouldn't work, but honestly, I don't hate it. This is a really, really cool car. Look at the wheels. I'm pretty sure that's not factory. That looks like they've been powder coated or something, but this car is sick. Just an absolutely crazy spec, which I really have been digging all these crazy specs on the STOs. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I maintain that this is a good one. But what do you guys think? Blue with pink, does it work? Does it not? Let me know in the comments below. This GT3 Hours is really interesting. Obviously this color isn't paint, this is a wrap. And look at that Dominic Toretto ass plate right there. That's something else. Move, peasant. Okay, I'm moving. Gen 4 Viper heading out. This is one of my favorite generations of Viper. I think it's a really underrated generation. I think it looks really cool. What do you guys think? If you guys thought the upstairs was cool, let's head down to the really cool part of the show. Walking into the main area at Lincoln Common, we're greeted with a Humvee, which is really neat. Lots of Lincolns too, fitting of the Lincoln name. A couple of Continentals. This one's pretty cool though, in gray. I would like to have one of these at some point just because it's a big boat, big American boat. And as a kid growing up in the Midwest, like, this is so cool. Also cool is this beautiful 60s Vet. My dad will be very keen to tell me what year this is, but I can't tell you from right here. It's got an LS in there, but it's dressed to look like an original Corvette engine, which I think is a really cool thing to do. Still quite a bit windy here, but this car is pretty cool. So this is a Dodge ViperACR with the Extreme Aero package. But what makes this car particularly interesting is that it's a Calvo twin turbo car, and it makes 1,590 wheel horsepower. Yeah, more horsepower than a Bugatti Chiron Supersport, or just about the same as well. Look at those really sticky tires there. That's what you got to do to put this power to the ground. I would love to ride in one of these cars at some point in time, just because it's a sheer kick in the back and just 60 to 130 times, far quicker than you could ever imagine a gasoline powered car having. This thing is awesome. Here's an interesting car. This is a brand new Cayman GT4 RS, and I think Python green. I could be wrong about that. Porsche guys, do correct me on that. But this car is really cool. In the last video, we saw the Ruby Star car, and this is another PTS car, which by law must be enjoyed. Look at those clear reflectors and the all-important clear tails. Very nicely spec'd car here. A couple of classic Japanese compacts here, starting off with this Honda Civic from the mid-70s. This thing is really cool. Don't see many of these around anymore. Obviously, a lot of them were driven to hell and back and then rotted away in a junkyard, but this one is really, really nice. Another nice car is this Nissan POW. I've never seen a POW in person before, but this is awesome. From the mid-90s, retro styling, designed to be like an old Italian compact, like a Fiat or something. But look at that interior. This thing is super duper cool. And then a complete 180 is this RWB 993. Now what makes this car special is this was actually Akira Nakai-san's personal RWB. And now it's here in Chicago. Look how wide this is. This is the wider 993 kit. It is absolutely absurd because the 993 Carrera 2 would be about here, and it goes out that much more on either side. The proportions of this car are just insane. It is very much a caricature of a 993. This thing is so cool. And look at that interior. Look at the Pasha fabric here. That is awesome. Here's a very special exotic. You might think this is either a 570 or a 620R, and technically that's not the case because this is the McLaren MSox, one of only 10 examples, commissioned by a bunch of McLaren enthusiasts out in California. And these are all spec'd to be homages to various F1 GTRs. This one in particular is an homage to 10R, which is owned by Pink Floyd drummer Nick Mason, which is really freaking cool. This car is awesome. So this came out before the 620R. And in fact, the 620R was inspired by this car. A lot of parts derived from McLaren's GT4 car, tow hook, the intakes, and the roof scoop, and the wing. This thing is so cool. Bit of a McDonald's spec, but again, this is a tribute to an F1 GTR, so this spec actually works for that reason. Here's a closer look at a car that featured in one of my last videos, this Diablo VT in a pearlescent yellow. I can actually look at this car up close now because it's not surrounded by people. Look at that interior, super duper cool. Obviously, you got the gated manual, as is the case with all Diablos. Black interior, yellow stitching. It's a gorgeous car, the original paint. very, very nice. Looking at this Diablo truly never gets old. But speaking of cars that have featured in previous videos, we have this Ford GT, which is actually in lime gold, not 2006 Mustang GT green. This is a color from the 60s. Really cool now finally getting to see this car out in the sunlight. Saw this car in the Chicago Car Collective video. If you haven't watched that video, please do, because I go more in depth into the spec. The car currently isn't in race mode, but the wing is up, which is really freaking cool. Overall, this is a really, really nicely spec GT. Usually we wouldn't pay much attention to brown A5 cabriolets, but this one is really cool. It's got a wide body, a lot of custom work done. Never seen an Audi built like this before. Oh, and he's putting the top up, which is really nice. Brown interior, which is cool too. This car is really interesting. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'm not really sure about it. IS 500 on its way out, making a great burble noise as it's driving along. The V8 version of the IS with Lexus's amazing 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. One of the best sounding V8s in current production right now. And the fact that Lexus is still building cars with NA V8s is really, really cool. So here we have a Techart 992 Turbo S, which in itself is a really interesting car. It's really nice. It's got the clear tails, got painted bumpers. Really cool car. But what makes this thing interesting is the toothpaste on the top. Never expected to ever see a toothpaste 992 Turbo S with a Techart body kit, but there you go. A lot of other cool cars around, including this Audi R8, which is really nice. It is an automatic car, but it's got the cool carbon vents. It's a V8 car, which I do like. I love the 4.2 V8s in these cars. They sound absolutely incredible. But one car I love even more is this beautiful 69 Camaro SS American racing wheels. Just a gorgeous color. Love the white rally stripes. Another car I love on top of that is this E93 M3. Back on top of the parking garage now, and the clean Supra is slowly starting to head out. Off goes the 360.